sort it in different layers. There's like a very pale yellow to be to look like the cake itself, and then there's whiter that's to look like frosting, and then there's a purple thin layer in there that's supposed to look like a sort of like a blackberry jam, because the fragrance that I'm using is Blackberry Ambrosia, and it smells really good. It's not fruity per se, it's more florally, perfumey, so I really thought that it would be good for a wedding cake. So what I'm doing today, I'm going to turn on my blender for just a second so I can wipe it off. But what I'm doing today is making the frosting. We're going to pipe on the top, and I'm going to do like a, you know, the new thing right now for weddings is the wedding cake has just a super thin, like the crumb layer frosting. It's called naked, almost naked cake. So I'm going to kind of do that around here with just a little bit of the frosting when it gets set up enough to be able to do that, and then I'm going to pipe on the top somewhere. Oh, in here I have a piping bag with a star tip that I'll pipe that on the top here, and it's going to be really pretty. Now this is very heavily scented, so, and this fragrance is from Nurture soap, and it behaves so well. It doesn't accelerate, it doesn't discolor, so it's just perfect. Great, great, great one to soap with that smells beautiful. It is great. I looked up yesterday what the winter wedding colors are for 2020, and purple and I think it's called apricot, or maybe it said nectarine, but it's purple and nectarine, navy and gray, of course red and green because that's a classic, or if you're getting married closer to Christmas. But those black and grays are really, really big right now, with just a pop of color, like maybe a burgundy. But anyway, I also then looked up fragrance profiles for weddings for 2020 winter, and this was spot on for what they were talking about. So anyway, that's what I'm using fragrance-wise. And here I have my oils and my cocoa butter and my shea butter. And in here I have my lye solution. So I'm just going to go ahead and add these things together and get this melted. If I were doing a bigger batch than this, I would have just melted the butters alone. But what I did, since I just wanted to just get it this way, is I popped the whole bowl in the microwave for about a minute so that everything was warm, so that when I added the lye solution, that it would just go ahead and start to melt everything down. And I just put a little shot of the fragrance oil in the frosting because the cake is already very heavily scented. I did, in the cake batter, I've been watching tips to how to make, now this fragrance does not fade, but I'm just going to do this with all of my soaps in the future to make sure to help anchor the fragrance oil. I'm going to start always mixing my fragrance oil for my big batches of things with some kale and clay right into the fragrance oil, because the clay then will absorb the fragrance and then help anchor that fragrance into the product and hold on to it a lot longer. So that's what I will be doing. I didn't do it for the frosting because I almost really just decided to not put any fragrance in the frosting because the cake is fragranced. And so the only thing I have to do is just decide how much I'm going to charge for this, and as a whole and then as slices. Now, I love Karen over at Eden's Secrets, and she makes soap cakes all the time. So I watched her the other day. I'm trying to think what cake she was making. I think it was a rainbow splat cake. And it just turned out so cute. So it motivated me to see about, I make cupcakes a lot of the time, but never really made a whole wedding cake layer. So anyway, she inspired me to do this. And she made big batch. I think she made 3 cakes at one time. And because this is my first one, I prefer to work in smaller batches. And then I will put this up on my Etsy site so that it can be for sale. And what I will do is put alternatives, whether it's a gender reveal cake or for a baby shower that's a boy or a girl, or just a generic baby shower for people. Some people don't like to know the sex of their child. So I'll have it for that, and I'll also have it so that you can order a birthday cake. For, a kid probably wouldn't want this kind of birthday cake, but a grown-up sure would. I know I would be happy to get a birthday cake that is calorie-free, so that I wouldn't have to worry about gaining any weight, and I could just enjoy that cake for a long time. Not just one day, but for a long time. I had some oil on my face. I had to wipe it off. It's going to drive me crazy. Okay, so this is basically melted. So I'm going to give this a blend. And I want this really, really light. So I'm going to add a little TD to get it nice and white. I am so sorry about how loud that is. I'm going to add just a shot more. Well, 2 shots more. Because I want the pale yellow, and I do mean a very pale yellow. I want it to be able to show up and be a difference. Now I want this to be thick enough, and like if I poured that in my piping bag now, it's just going to run out into the jar that I have my piping bag standing in. So I wanted this to get thicker, and I want it to get a little thicker so I can do the outside, like just rub some around here with a spatula. And then I need the finish setting up so I can pipe that top. I'm at a light trace. I'm going to leave it like this for just a few minutes and see. This is a very slow moving recipe, and this oil just works beautifully. So it's going to take it a little while to set up. I have my cake on just a little Christmas stand. I used to have a twirly thing, and I don't have the twirly thing anymore. I have no idea. My hair's driving me crazy. I don't know what's going on with it. Anyway, I don't have the twirly thing anymore. So I just put it on the cake stand, and then I have a cake round underneath it with some freezer paper on the top, because the soap that I put around the outside edge may drip down, and I don't want it to be stuck to a surface. I'll be able to peel this off of it pretty easily once everything's all completely set up. I just love this fragrance. It is just amazing. So when you're watching this video, I am affiliated with Nurture Soap. And I'm affiliated with Nurture Soap because everything that I've gotten from there, I've been more than pleased with. It all works great. It does exactly what they advertise that it's going to do. If they have a fragrance oil that's going to accelerate or slightly rise or discolor your soap, they put it on their website and directly on the bottle. So you don't have to remember when you get your order in that this is going to do something funky in your soap. Like, now I love Wholesale Supplies Plus. I really do. But let me show you the difference. Let me find one that I know is them. This Crafter's Choice Pink Grapefruit. I love this scent. It smells beautiful. It does work really good in the soap. This one does not accelerate. It does not discolor. I just made a soap with it a few weeks ago, and I absolutely love it. But what I'm trying to point out is on the label, it doesn't tell you what this does. I have to remember that this soap's great, or it does whatever. It does give you a lot number. It does give you a flash point, and it does tell you the vanillin content. But it does not tell you, like on this one, it tells me no acceleration or discoloration, use up to 6% in soap. Vanillin is 0. And it says try our fragrance calculator. So it tells me, it's going to remind me if I'm trying to make something that I need to move slowly. Like the layering of the cake, I needed it to move slowly. Now this does move really slow for the frosting that you would kind of want it to set up for, but I'd rather be able to walk away and do something than to be like, oh God, I got to get this in the mold like yesterday. Stick blending does help it speed up a little, so I'm going to do that for a little bit. And see if it's already enough that it's like do a crumb layer, that almost naked thing that is so popular right now. Oh, my dogs are going to go crazy. Someone must be here. So let me see if this is going to work. Yes? Yes? It's okay, come on in. I am recording, so anything you say is going to be on the recording. Oh, okay. Yeah, that would be great. My daughter-in-law's bringing me some beer, y'all. Not for drinking, for making. We'll be making some products, some beer shampoo and things like that. So I'm doing a crumb coat. I love you. Thank you.
You're welcome.
So I'm doing like with the almost naked. It's not sticking very well, but I'm going to go with it, and I'm going to blend it a little bit more. Since I've already started on one side, I want it to be exactly the same all the way around the cake. So I'll go ahead and just put some of this all the way around the cake. And now you can see why it's so important to have this piece of paper under here, because where it drips, it would want to stick, and I'm going to want to be able to remove it. So I'm going to let it set up just a little bit longer, and then I'm going to come back and do another layer of that. I want it to be a little bit thicker than that. I want it to be able to hold some sort of... I'd like to be able to drag the spoon through it and be able to see that I've done that. Yeah, I'm sorry about my dogs. They have a lot to say. So while this is setting up, let's see what my daughter-in-law brought me. Oh, it's a coffee lager. That is going to be not for a beer shampoo. That is going to be for a soap. So what I will do, she brought me several cans. What I will do is I'll pop the top on these, and I'm going to pour them in a container, like a fermenting container, and I will let I want all the carbonation to go. I don't like to cook mine down. I can, but I don't like to do that. I'd rather for it to just go flat on its own. So if I just open it and cover it lightly, maybe even with paper towel, so the air and gases can escape, and I will let all of that take place on its own, and then I will make a nice soap with that. We had a Halloween party on our property for all the kids. There are 11 kids on this property. We have a large lot. My daughter and I bought about 7 acres of land, and my soon-to-be, or my ex, I should say, that we're like a soap opera, guys. You might we are a soap opera family, but no drama, mostly. Anyway, my soon-to-be ex-daughter-in-law, actually, technically everything's been done. COVID-19 has slowed down the court system, so there's no, everything's been signed off on, and the judge signed off on everything, but we don't have all the copies of everything because of COVID. But anyway, so she has 5 children, and on the back side of my daughter's property, we put a house back there for her and the 5 children, and she has a boyfriend. And my son, who is the father of those 5 children, we've cut out some land back on the backside of my property for him and his fiance and her little girl to put a tiny house on. So anyway, the combination is 11 kids, because my daughter, who has the other parcel of property, lives like a driveway is the only thing that separates our two households. And she has 3 children. So we just have a busy thing. But we had a Halloween party, and for the Halloween party we had grown-up beverages, children's beverages, and I think the coffee lager was something that was left over. I'm going to see if I have some little peekers outside of this door. No, I don't. Sometimes they like to be really super nosy, and I was just going to make them come in and embarrass them, make them get on here. I'm just going to help this thicken up a little faster. There we go. This might be thick enough to see if I can do a spoon sort of drag thing. I don't know. We'll see. My only problem with soaping when it comes to, I like for it to take its own sweet time when I'm doing my layers and stuff, because I don't like to have to fight it in the mold, but I do get a little impatient whenever I'm ready to do the next step and it not want to work with me. That drives me slightly crazy. This is a little bit better. I thought about piping it because at Eden, Karen from Eden's Secrets, she did pipe around her outside edge, but I really wanted to do this because, like I said, the ones that are popular right now are those almost naked cakes, and so I just kind of wanted to go with what was the in thing, because I think the video that I watched that she did maybe in 2018, so that was not a thing. You know, that was your crumb layer, and nobody saw that except the chef. I just made, my brother got married October the 10th, and I made his for real wedding cake, and I almost did that for theirs because it was the in thing, but I decided to go against it because her flowers were very rustic looking, that I thought the traditional way to frost it was the best way to go. Though it probably would have been pretty. She had those new flowers. I don't know if you guys seen the new flowers that are like, they're made out of wood, but they're really pliable, and I think that's all I'm going to do for the outside edge. So I'm going to wait for this to set up some more for me to put it in my piping bag. But anyway, I don't know if you've seen those wooden flowers that you can dye them, and they're amazing. I did my brother's flower arrangements for the bridesmaids and the bride's bouquet and the bouquet for the bride to throw so that she could keep her big bouquet. But anyway, that was very, very pretty. And her colors were burgundy, mauve, and like a cream color. And her dress had an old-fashioned flair to the dress. So it was really pretty. A beautiful wedding. It came off really nice. It was small. It was quaint because again we have COVID. But anyway, all the cake. I did one large 14-inch round layer that was lemon flavor with fresh lemon juice and lemon zested lemon in there, and then I did a 12-inch round of chocolate, and then I did a 10-inch round of strawberry, and then the top layer was a 6-inch, I think, no, 8-inch, and that was vanilla, and then I did a smaller 6-inch vanilla that was a layer that was off to the side, sort of on a stand of its own, that was there to take home. And I did that just because sometimes at a wedding people go crazy and they'll end up cutting your top layer before you know it. But with it being off to the side, it was no question. We kind of got it away once the cake started getting sliced up. We just moved that away. But all of the cake was eaten. There was maybe 3 slices of the lemon left at the end of everything. So it must have tasted pretty good. And I do a scratch when I do a cake like that. I do a pound cake. But this cake is a soap cake. I really want this to thicken up. There's no way it's going to stay in the bag right now. Let's see. Consider doing this frosting in a vanilla because the vanilla would have gone really well with the fragrance oil, but I didn't want to take any chances on it discoloring because the only vanilla that I have that's a non-discoloring vanilla I've had for a little while now, and I don't know if that would make a difference. And I don't have any of the additive that you just add to vanilla to keep that from happening. So I decided I better just go with what I know. Gotta clean my hands. It's gonna drive me crazy. Yeah, I'm sorry. I don't wear gloves because it's hard for me to find gloves that fit my hands because I'm not an average size. I'm 4'11". I'm way too much. I weigh 135 pounds. But my ring finger's like a size 3 now. It was a 2 when I got married, but plus gain weight, everything gets bigger. So it's just hard to find gloves. I would need child-size gloves, and they're hard to find, and you definitely have to special order them. So this is getting thicker. What I'm going to do is I'm going to turn off the camera for now. I'm going to let it sit there for a little while longer because as long as it does this off of my spoon, it's just going to go through the bag because the tip is pretty large on there. So I'm going to turn off the camera and I'll bring you back once I have the bag all loaded and it's ready to start piping. Y'all, I am so sorry. I forgot to turn on the camera. I was trying to get everything ready and not only just do the video here, but I also have my Facebook group that I was trying to let know what was going on in the soaping room today. And well, whoopsie. But anyway, all I've done is put my icing in my bag and let it stiffen up just enough to be able to hold the shape so that I could pipe it on. And before it was completely set up to hold the shape, I took a spoon and I rubbed icing around the outside edge. Now I have some icing left over here. I don't know if I'm going to want a second layer of these on top, but I'm going to see. I'll put one in the middle and I'll see if I think I want to continue with that or if I just want to just stop where I am. So I just don't want to waste any of this. So if there's any left over that I don't get on top of the cake, I will just pipe some shapes on a piece of paper. That's the freezer paper. Oops. And that way I'll have them for another project. If I don't waste it all, because right now I'm just making a mess. And I'm going to have to clean that off so I can hold that with my hands, because if you're a soap maker that's watching this, we all know that the raw soap batter before it's had time to cure can be a little irritating to our hands. So, now got it down in the bag. Take my spatula and do it like I do my frosting on a real cake. And push it down. And I'm going to get my cloth here. I'm going to wipe the bag down so that I don't have super itchy hands the entire time that I'm trying to work. And this is still just a little bit loose, but it's not so loose that it won't hold its shape. I do think it's looking quite pretty, so I'm really happy with it. This is the first time, like I said, I've made a soap cake inspired by Karen over at Secrets. She is one of my favorite soapers to watch, and she records her whole process from start to finish. And when there's even a boo-boo, she just continues to go. I just love watching her because she is a real soaper, not one that you're like, oh man, everything they do is so perfect, and why can't I do that? Because not everything always turns out perfect. Even if you're a seasoned pro, like Karen, it just happens, and you just have to keep going. And even if there's a boo-boo, it's soap, so it's going to wash you. It's going to feel good, even if it didn't turn out like what you wanted it to look like. I'm hoping these ones that are right around the outside edge aren't going to, like, decide later to just, like, drip off. Because at that point I might cry. I think I'm just going to stop right there. And I love it. I am very pleased with how it came out. I do have to put some water in a bowl and rinse my hands off because they are a little itchy. And I know the whole controversy about apple cider vinegar and just water, but I used to use the apple cider vinegar, but I find that just water rinsing works perfect. So now my dilemma for my own self is, do I want to add some of these sprinkles? Because once I put them on there, they're going to be pretty hard to get off. So let me just see what I think. You know what? I think I like it. Just a couple. And of course, no cake that's a soap cake would be completely complete if it didn't have some glitter. Am I right or am I right? Am I right or am I right? Or am I right or am I wrong? I don't know. I don't want a lot, just a little. So I'm about to have to tell my hand to not go back into this cup because my mind keeps saying go. Go, 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 go. Alright, I'm going to put it down. I like that. It's very simple, but very pretty. Now, let me get some. That might be too big. I think I'm going to use Nurture Soap Super Sparkle. I'm going to have very glittery fingers because I'm not going to load up my tea thing to get. Oh, that's pretty. Oh my god. Well, dang if I ain't happy. I love it. I love it, love it, love it. Karen, you're also in the group that I'm in where we do the collaboration. So, Karen from Eden Secret, if you are by chance watching my video, which I would freak out if you were, but this was inspired by you, and I love it. Love it, love it, love it. Wish you lived in Gilbert, South Carolina in the greater Columbia metropolitan area, because I would sure love to hang out with you one day. You are like one of my faves in soaping. I just absolutely, positively adore everything that you do. You're very creative, which is very inspiring. but very addicting because, you know, when I sit down I say all the time when I'm having a cup of coffee before I come in here to work, I'm just going to watch one video. And then sometimes it's like, now my coffee's at like 9 because I have a farm and I have to feed up the animals. And so I'm having my coffee like at 9, and it might be 11 before I actually stroll in here. And your videos aren't that long. So anyway, this is what I have for now. I will bring you back when this is all set up and it's ready to cut. Okay, hi everybody. I'm back with my soap cake. I have started cutting it. I am so happy with how it turned out. The only thing that I would change at all about the cake would be if this yellow doesn't darken up a little bit after the air's had a chance to hit it, then I might be a little upset that it doesn't get a little dark. Y'all, I know you can see my, that's my clean towels over there I have to fold and put away. And my racks need a little bit of cleaning. But anyway, not a horrible mess. But here's the cake. And it just has turned out so pretty. Like I said, Karen from Eden's Secrets inspired me to make this cake, and I am so glad that I did. I was nervous. I cannot tell you how nervous I was to play around with the cake, but I absolutely love how it turned out. So this one is like this could be a birthday cake, or this one could be a wedding shower cake, bridal shower. I plan on doing some where maybe the inside cake here is pink or blue, or this is supposed to represent some blackberry jam here. That could be a blue or a pink, or I could have that be the gender reveal color. And if the cake was all wrapped up and put together, and each slice was individually wrapped, people could at the same time grab their, like I would slide the piece of cake. Let me see, can I get my piece of cake back out? Where's my knife? Like I could slide my piece of cake out and I could put it into a bag, and the bag be wrapped here with a ribbon, and that would have a little tail, and everybody could grab the little tails and pull those out, and then everybody at the same time that was doing that could see what color the inside of the cake was. Even the mom, if she didn't know what her gender of her baby was, she would know whenever they pulled out the pieces of cake. Or if you got it whole and you cut it yourself, because it's really not that hard to cut, then you would know it at that point. But anyway, I just thought I'd share. I'm gonna take some pictures and get this up on my Etsy site later today and offer some different options for this cake, and hopefully it will go as well as I hope that it will. And just wanted to share with you, and I'm sorry it's been so long since I've done a video. If you have any questions about how I did this, because when I first started making the cake, I turned on my camera and hit record, but I didn't realize that my SD card was full. So I didn't get everything, but I tried to get as much as possible. But if you have any questions, just leave me a comment down below, and I will make sure that I go in and answer each one of those. And I will be making more of these, so I will make sure that my SD card is empty before I start the recording session. So that's all I have for now. I'm glad you stopped by, and I will see you in the next video. Bye-bye.